There will be no carbon tax under the government I lead. There will be no carbon tax under the government I lead. There will be no carbon tax under the government I lead.
You know, it all comes down to one little itty-bitty word. If Julia had changed one word in her now infamous statement, if she had said there will be a carbon tax instead of no carbon tax, how different life would be today. I don't know about you, but I'd be in the cafe right now. Maybe you'd be in the cafe too, or home with your family, or reading a book, or playing with your kids, or playing with your grandkids. We certainly wouldn't be out here in this park, in the rain, in the wind. Because, well, let me ask you a question. If Julia had said there will be a carbon tax, would she be Prime Minister right now? No. Of course she wouldn't. And who would be Prime Minister? There'd be no carbon tax, no mining tax to fight. But the cold hard fact is that she did lie. And because of her deceit, she is the Prime Minister. Though probably not for much longer. And this brings up a very important point. If you listen to the political rumor mill, the government may push through the carbon tax, then dump Julia Gillard, and replace her to try to get approval ratings back up. But if that's what they're thinking, they've missed the entire point. As much as we'd love to see Julia go, it's not about who the PM is. It's about the carbon tax. You can't change the PM and not the policy. It's just not good enough, government. Do they actually think that if they do that, we'll just sit back down and say, oh, well, everything's fine now? There's a famous political slogan from the 1990s. Perhaps you've heard it. It went like this. It's the economy, stupid. Bill Clinton, remember him? Well, to paraphrase that, let me just say to the members of the government who think getting rid of Julia will solve their problems. It's the carbon tax, stupid! Come on now. Time I checked, Sportsbet seems to think Simon Crean will lead the government into the next election. But where do you think Simon was a couple of weeks ago? Anybody here from Rockingham? Okay. He was in Rockingham. And what was he doing there? He was there with our friend Gary Gray conducting a forum to promote the carbon tax. So which do you prefer? Do you want the carbon tax and Simon Crean as PM? Or do you want a new election now? Some people even talk about bringing back Kevin. Do you want the carbon tax and Kevin Rudd? Or do you want a new election now? So what can we do? What can you do? You know, somewhere along the line, this government forgot something very important. And that is that they work for you. So the first thing you've got to do is to remind them of that. So why don't we start right now? Tell them, you work for us. You work for us. You work for us. You work for us. Members of the government are supposed to serve the public, and the public in turn pays them a salary to do so. They are meant to work for us. But this government and this Julia Gillard are actively working against us. She is working against the will of the Australian people, who clearly do not want this be Melissa Park, member for Frio. How do you feel about Melissa Park voting for the carbon tax? Then there's Stephen Smith, member for Perth. How do you feel about him voting for the carbon tax? And last there's Gary Gray, member for Brand. How do you feel about Gary voting for the carbon tax? And Gary is one of the 15 most marginal labor seats. So pretty soon, I think it's going to be goodbye. I have something here to show you. Something I find absolutely gobsmacking. We got it off the net yesterday, and my husband has it here to show you. I don't know if you can see it. This is a poster for the climate conference to be held in Melbourne in 2 weeks' time. It shows a green fist clutching a wind turbine. Now, we didn't make this up to make them look bad. You can't make this stuff up. So does this fist look familiar to you? Here's the same fist, except this one's red. It's a fist that began and is still used as a fist of communism. And it's the fist of socialism. This red one is actually the Soviet Red Army's fist. It's the same fist, just a different color. So you see, the watermelon joke is true. Green on the outside, red on the inside. I look at this and it makes me sick. It's creepy. It's sinister. But you see, many of us quite a while ago realized that this carbon tax, it's got nothing to do with the climate. It's not about climate change. It never was. So I want to ask our 3 Western Australians who plan to vote for the carbon tax a question. And we're on video and we're going to be sending this to them. Melissa Park, this green fist, is that what you're really all about? Stephen Smith, Minister of Defense. This green fist, is this really what you're all about? I would have thought you were better than that, Stephen Smith. And Gary Gray, tell us the truth. Is this what you're all about? Are you all about socialism? Again, what can we do? There's a lot you can do. This government is like the Wizard of Oz, blustery, like this wind today. But behind the curtains, there's not much left. I believe this government is going to crumble. Malcolm mentioned earlier about writing emails, calling them. Let's have 2 weeks of thunder every day. Email, email, email. It's not as hard as you think. There's a little trick. You put, when you're emailing, you put first name dot surname dot MP at APH, which stands for Australian Parliament House. So aph.gov.au. Write a couple sentences and just copy it and keep sending it over and over again. Because it is the volume. They're not actually reading these emails. Why would they?
2 weeks of thunder.
2 weeks of thunder. That's right.
That's it. They get more than one.
That's right. Flood their inboxes. Call them. Write letters. Let's protest outside their offices. We need more rallies around this nation, and they are being organized as I speak. That's right. That's right. We call on our friends on the East Coast, in Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, anywhere in the eastern states, to rise up and fight this despicable tax. Join us in demanding a new election now. possibilities and potential. Do not let this government kill Australia's promise. Do not let this government kill Australia's possibilities. Do not let this government kill Australia's potential. Demand